Could the fintech market be currently undergoing a severe headwind that we're just not realizing or that we're completely ignoring? Could the stocks of companies such as PayPal, Etsy, Cash App, even Shopify be affected by this severe headwind? That's going to be the subject of this video. And I wanted to talk about this because I saw a recent comment talking about how consumers might stop using PayPal because they might start distrusting the app because of the recent scandal that they're going through with regards to their Honey app. If you want to see that video, it'll be over here somewhere. I don't know. I'll put it here somewhere. I don't know. That has to do with only the distrust and kind of like the consumer mentality, consumer sentiment towards PayPal. But this video is going to be talking about the legislative changes with regards to certain things that might have a really big effect on those companies. So what I wanted to talk about is the IRS change to tax reporting for those companies. The IRS is now requiring that people that transact more than $600 on apps like PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, they will have to report. They will have to file a 1099-K and report their earnings. As of this year, I don't want to like scare you too much, but I think as of this year, I'm not a tax consultant or whatever, tax accountant or whatever, but from what I understand is as of this year, they're going to do it slowly. So you only have to file if you have more than $5,000 in transactions, but eventually they'll bring it down to $600. Now, the problem with this new tax law is that the number of smaller companies that don't actually make that much money, let's say they make less than $1,000 a year, those people, those small companies or those individuals who are maybe earning like $10 here, $20 there, up to maybe they're earning less than $1,000. All those people will now have to file taxes and they'll have to do this cost benefit analysis between whether or not it's worth to, they have to, for example, in Etsy, I know you have to pay a listing fee and then sometimes they might pay advertising fee. Will those smaller individuals that are earning like just breadcrumbs, if they earn just around that $600 mark, they now have to pay taxes on the gains that they make, albeit even though they're earning so little. And those individuals might end up having to lose money after they account for all the advertising fees, the listing fees, taxes now. That's a big chunk. And if those customers of PayPal, of Cash App, just stop their businesses altogether because they find that it's no longer beneficial for them to have this small business, then the PayPal, Cash App, they lose those customers. Now, additionally, what makes this even worse is that this change isn't only for accounts that are labeled as businesses. Let's say you wanted to get rid of a couch in your house. Well, I mean, you bought it for $3,000 and you're like, okay, I'm gonna sell it for $600. Or let's say you sold two things and those like eventually like you had a garage sale or something and eventually you racked up more than $600 in revenue, right? Even though you technically lost money because that couch cost you, let's say $3,000, but then you only sold it for $600. You technically lost $2,400. But if you don't have the receipt for when you bought that couch, let's say 10 years ago, then that counts as a gain. That counts as a $600 gain, even though you lost $2,400. Now, if that's the case, wouldn't it make sense that those people that were at first using PayPal, that were at first using Cash App, they'll switch to apps like Zelle where you don't have to report that transaction? And in that case, then you'll see this drop in customers for PayPal, for Cash App, etc. The biggest problem is that PayPal is seeing themselves as a growth company, and they're one of their key metrics is their consumer base, their customer base. So if you have this group of users who were at first using Cash App and PayPal and Venmo, they all of a sudden stop and just start using Zelle, then that will show in their balance sheet and it will show a decline in PayPal's growth, right? Because growth is currently being priced into PayPal. People are assuming that PayPal will acquire new customers, they will acquire more revenue. And when you no longer have this door for customers to first join into their free product and then use their free product and they like it, and then if they like it enough, then maybe they'll start their business using it, right? You no longer have this kind of like step in this path from being a free user to a premium user, because people would much rather I'll just pay you in cash. I'll just pay you through Zelle. They don't have that that path to being a paying customer, and then PayPal won't get that business. They won't even get the processing fees. I just feel that this is actually could be a really big problem for those companies. Now, PayPal obviously also has that trust issue that I talked about earlier in the previous video, but adding this on top of that just makes it even more scary to invest in these type of companies when you don't know if consumers, if you don't know if customers will continue using these apps. They'll switch to using Zelle. They'll switch to using cash. This is also another problem that I have with using crypto, because crypto, everything is traced and then everything is taxed. I think the IRS is also saying that crypto is going to be treated as an asset. So anytime you're switching between cryptos, so let's say you bought Bitcoin and you switch to Ethereum and then you switch to whatever, you're taxed anytime you sell crypto, which is also a scary thing because they're seeing it as an asset rather than a currency. But crypto is another topic for another video, so I'm not going to talk about that anymore. But I just really want to emphasize how low that limit is. $600. That's $50 per month of revenue, not profit, of revenue. If you make more than $50 a month on average, then you're going to be taxed on it, and that's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. And I really want to, I don't know if I'm overblowing the headwind and the effects that this might have on those companies, PayPal and Cash App, but it does seem like that could be a significant bear thesis for those apps. Those consumers that just want to sell, maybe like, as I said before, their couch or their table or whatever in a garage sale, they'll no longer be using PayPal. They'll just ask immediately for Zelle, or they'll ask for cash. And when you no longer have this path from being a free user to a premium user, because the free users would much rather just use Zelle or cash, then you no longer have this type of like pathway to go from not a customer to being a paying customer, right? You lose this middle step. So I guess I'm just wondering, how much of an effect do you think this new tax law, this new tax rule will have? This 1099-K, where if you take in more than $600 of revenue using a single app, then those will be reported. I would love to know your thoughts and your opinions. Please let me know down below. But other than that, those are my thoughts. Have a good day.